I'm amused by the fact that I managed to get Earl's original character concept quote into the last session. That feels pretty good. I think he's wrong, though. I guess we may find out this session and see where things are going. So let's see. Let's see what's going on. When we last left our heroes, well, things hadn't quite gone to plan. We had arrived at the Providence Station and discovered that instead it was Providence Station ruins. Not great news. Debris filled, a boneyard, if you will, as the station was destroyed, and the glow of approaching tempests, the larger interstellar versions of what K is and what the wisps are, and everything is what they grow up to that are around here, and potentially the key to, certainly the key to the precursor vaults, possibly the key to whatever solution the precursors had worked out to keep the Nephilim, the Dualahan, these extra dimensional creatures away from the Forge, which we were supposed to come to Providence Station and they would lead us to what Lagrange and their collective thought as part of their, you know, don't call it a prophecy, that First Covenant believed was going to be where the solution was, that was going to save the Forge and save the Milky Way galaxy and everything else. It didn't seem to quite pan out that way because the station is in ruins. Looking back at the roles that we had in the previous session, we had it was mostly the trip to Providence Station that went sideways, like our journey to the station that went sideways. Our expedition was okay. That's fine. But big worry here, of course, is, you know, what are we going to do here? Now, we did come in here with under stealth. So in theory, even though there are tempests around, they may not immediately attack the ship. The problem is, while that's true, Lang and his crew of Ironsworn, his fleet of Ironsworn, are going to arrive here in a few seconds, if minutes at most. And they are not cloaked, and they are definitely going to be noticed by these wraiths. So I am going to try to take stock of this situation. Whoo boy, with it's weird because I've been switching back and forth playing different game systems, so immediately I want to assess the situation because I've been playing masks. That's not a move. Gathering information though comes pretty darn close. So when you search for clues, ask questions, analyze evidence, or do research, roll wits. I am going to try to gather information and just analyze what's going on here in the few moments that I have before the shit truly hits the fan. I'm going to try to gather information and see what we have. I don't think I really have any modifiers on this. And that is a miss, where I can burn momentum for a weak hit. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. A couple things that could be. It could be that the Tempest definitely destroyed this base. That goes against the whole idea that somehow they're tied to this base somehow, like that warning beacon and the fact that there was one like out there as almost a defensive perimeter in the last session. I mean, I could go that way. It could be that the station was wiped out by Meridian. Meridian already knew about this and they're already here and waiting for us. They're just waiting in ambush in there. But then how are they here if the Tempests are here, and why haven't the Tempests done anything about it? That doesn't really work for me. On a weak hit, which I can get if I burn my momentum, the information provides new insight. It also complicates your quest. Envision what you discover and then take +1. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to burn the momentum, take the weak hit. Let it be noted, because this doesn't happen very often, I am burning momentum to get a weak hit. I almost never do that. Generally speaking, it's either if I'm going to burn momentum, I want a strong hit. But in this case, I'm actually okay with this because it gives me the mood of this thing is definitely a miss with a mixed success, and that's what a weak hit gives me. So that's the vibe that I'm kind of going for with this. So I'm actually pretty okay with how that kind of plays out. So all right, so. The information provides new insight, but also complicates your quest. Envision what you discover. All right, what I'm going with this is I'm going to get so a couple pieces of information are going to come in simultaneously. Zeb is going to tell me that there's a beacon. Earl, there's a beacon. There is a repeating message. It's on a low frequency, so it's not broadcasting to other systems, but it's broadcasting within this system. It is a repeating oral recording. Do you want to hear it? Yeah, just give me one. And at the same time, Kay is saying, Earl, I can hear them. They're not angry that like the others. They're sad and they're talking more. I can hear them, Earl. They can. Whoa, can they hear you? I think they can, but I think they're just curious. They're not angry, Earl. They're not angry. Okay, too much. Don't say anything just yet. What's the crap? What's the recording? And Kay manages to be quiet here for a second, and Zeb plays back this recording. We're just kind of Pal and me, Fidget are all here, kind of listening to it, and it's this is the I'm not going to give it. This is the commander, Providence Station. We were stationed here as part of First Covenant. We were here to discover the key that would unlock the secrets of the precursors, and we believed, according to the prophecy, and he actually uses the word prophecy, and it makes Fidget kind of go, ugh, that it would reveal to us their plan for saving creation from the creatures that nearly wiped out the Forge and did wipe out our original home. But we have been unable to do that. We have unlocked that which must not be unlocked. We have revealed to our enemies our existence, and the only way to save all of us from them is to destroy us and thus save creation. It was what was required, even though the secrets here were insufficient to unlock the truth. We believe that the truth does exist, and we go into our next chapter with the firm belief the First Covenant will continue forward, and that we will discover the secret and the solution and the commitment necessary to save creation. And then it loops again. Earl can kind of put this together pretty quickly. The general idea that they were messing around with the precursor vault, unfortunately got into it and probably unlocked the Dullahan, Nephilim, whatever the things are, or potentially did, and the only way they could close, much in the same way that the precursors took themselves out of creation to keep the Dullahan from being able to be here in the Forge, they figured that their existence was an anchor that the Nephilim could use, so they destroyed themselves to rob them of that anchor. Yeah, I mean that feels about right. So Zeb, Kay, you said that you can hear them? Yes. They're sad. Why? And at this point in time, Earl makes potentially a bad decision, but I turn to Kay and I say, ask them why they're sad. Are you sure? Yes. Just Zeb, drop the cloak. Ask them why they're sad, Kay. See if they can understand you. And we drop the cloak on the ship and we're there. And they certainly react. The light intensifies, but Kay is talking to them. I think I'm still on the same. I'm going to let the gather information just ride here because, again, it's information, new insight, but complicating the quest. We can actually eventually, we see as Kay is having this, we see the light intensify inside of the bridge as Kay's light inside of Kay's suit intensifies and brightens through the various vents that it's already built to allow for that, the crack and the seam that I've put into the faceplate, the inner layer of the faceplate, that kind of thing. And we see them as we're moving the ship. They're certainly Tempests, but they're not full-grown Tempests. They're big, but they're not like the huge ones that we've seen everywhere else. They're just there's something else. And what Kay tells us is that they were part of Providence. Like Providence had them here. They were working with Providence, and they had been for a long time. And they had been helping them and working with them and been known to them. They hadn't ever lived inside the station, but they'd lived around the station. They'd helped them when they tried to do things with the blank space. I think that's probably the vault. And then they were all gone when the station blew up. And they had felt this great, cold, terrible presence, but then it was gone when they were all gone. And now they don't really know what else to do, so they've just been here circling this. About this time, I think, the fleet shows up, and Earl's quickly like, "What did stand down? Stand down. Everything is fine. Everything is not fine, but they're fine. We're not in danger. They're not attacking. Do not aggress. All right? They're not." Zeb, play the recording again. And I'm just listening to this recording as it's kind of going and looking out at this wreckage in space. Okay. There is a certain amount of a sense that everything that we do, it's always the princess is in another castle. I think I either need to make things better or need to make things a lot worse with this. And I don't have any momentum anyway, so I might as well do moves. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Deb, I think this is what the crew was originally working toward. I think this is what, for better or worse, this is what they were involved in, was trying to solve this problem. And for better or worse, this is the answer that we have here inside of Morian's Pyre. I think this is the best we can find right now, my friend. It could be, Earl. How do you feel about that? And Zeb goes, "Well, I ain't sure." Oh, please don't do that. What? I thought it might make you laugh, Earl. Well, I admit that it does. I'm not sure how it makes me feel, Earl, but it definitely makes me feel something, and I suppose that's something in and of itself. All right, so no answers right now, but maybe one answer. I almost don't want to look. No, there isn't almost. I don't want to look. I'm resolving the... I am going to try to fulfill the quest, find out what happened, and get justice for the crew of the Zebulon Harding. At least find out what happened. So, okay. Well, oh, I should probably turn on the dice box. That's a strong hit. I didn't have much progress. I only had 6, but it is a strong hit. Okay. Yeah, but now what? I don't think this is where, I mean, the problem that I've been running into, if I can just reveal this to everybody, is I've been trying to figure out how this story wraps up. Because there's a lot, right? And I think it's about time to make the meta text kind of the text a little bit. All right, so let me just look at what this thing is here. Let's look at this move. We find out what happened to get justice for the crew of the Zebulon Harding Serious Tribute. Okay, it is a epic, and that, wow, that fills 3 boxes up on my quest track. 3 boxes. Okay. All right. Well. Wow. Okay. So that's 50 XP that I have right now. Okay. Oh, we're not done yet, kids. Huh. That's something. I didn't think I was ever gonna see that side of. Look at the bar. Like, that's just, I'm 1 box away from completely filled out on quests. Only a box and a half, give or take, on discoveries and bonds. I feel like I've done a lot. All right. Well, I haven't made things worse, but I have got a little bit of closure there. Let's see if I can make things worse. We're going to go back over here, and we are going to go to my vows, and we're going to look at the next one. I'm going to make a note here. Fulfill the prophecy that lies at the heart of the First Covenant faction. I don't think... find a way to make the Wisp safe and the Forge safe from the Nephilim. I'm not taking a swing at that. That's probably going to become my new one. Stop Kamorshim. It's become a less important thing, but it might happen. But fulfill the prophecy that lies at the heart of the First Covenant faction, which is an extreme. I have 6 boxes full. So... sometimes. So that's a strong hit with a match. That's a 6 and a 3. Okay. I kind of don't know. Okay. Kay, here's what I need you to do. I need you to tell our friends out there, your friends, your family out there, that they're in danger. That there are people here in Morian Pyre, who are looking for them and want to misuse them to do harm, to do the greatest harm. And they're not just looking for them, they're looking for all of your family, all the other Tempests. And they need to find their family and tell them to stay away from people. Stay away from people, because otherwise they'll be misused. Warn them. Have them warn them. All right, Earl, but I mean, we could warn them. If I can talk to them, I think I can talk to we've got something else we're going to be doing, buddy. If it's all right, I think I know what's next. All right, Earl. All right. I'll let them know. I will tell them. And Paladin starts to say something. Just, how bad do you need to get back to the station? Oh, I don't know. been gone for so long, it doesn't really matter what you got planned. Well, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's going to be simple. And Fidget, from behind me, I didn't realize she was there. Everything with you is complicated. What are we doing? And with that, she tells me that she's in regardless. This is just a lot for me to process, guys. Give me a minute while I'm thinking about this. Okay, so as I'm about to ask Kay what they said, I see that the tempests have turned and they're passing once more around all the ruins of the station, and then they start to become distant and they're leaving away from the system at a greater and greater rate of speed. And then they kind of cross over one another, and then they're gone in a flash. And I hear Lang on the station, like on the radio, like, all right, so the big glowing fellas are gone, but what's the plan there? What's the plan? And the recording here says that there was a prophecy that they believed in, that we were going to solve things. I don't really believe in a prophecy. I don't believe in fate, that there's something that's set to be done that will happen no matter what. I don't really hold to that. I don't think that that's true. But I'll tell you what I do believe is we are going to keep going. We're going to keep going because it's what's needful. We're going to keep going because there isn't any such thing as a prophecy, and there isn't any such thing as fate. We're going to keep going because we have to. We're going to keep going because there isn't an end. There's just more and more that we need to do. And also because I think we got a little bit of a clue, family of mine. I don't think that creatures like the precursors would have put all of their eggs in one basket. I don't think they would have left all the answers in one sector. They thought they had found an answer here at the station that they were looking at with this vault. But I think the answer was that they were looking at a drift point that led into the rest of the forge. And that was the clue. That was the answer. We found everything that we can find here. We may have to come back once we know what the answer is, but the answer isn't here. The answer's out there, and we need to keep going. So what's next? Out there is next. The rest of the forge is next. We have to find answers, and the answers, I think, they're telling us the answers are out there. So if you're with me, and I look at Paladin, who nods, and I look at Fidge, who takes my arm, and Kay just kind of walks up next to me and looks at me, and then looks out the window. Zeb, do you think course is already plotted, Earl? We are ready to embark as soon as you give the word. And there's just a little bit of a lilt in his voice that he couldn't quite get out of there. And Earl certainly can't help a smile. I already plotted it in. How long ago did you figure this out? Oh, Earl, I certainly didn't realize what you were going to say several minutes ago. That would be ridiculous. You're a very bad liar, Zeb. I would say I'm a very kind liar, Earl. Fair enough. Iron Sworn, are you with me? And over the comms, I just get like kind of an ooh-rah, but like whatever the ooh-wah sound is for the Iron Sworn. All right then, let's move out. And the last shot is the ships turning and the Eidolon drive spinning up and the Zebulon Harding taking off, followed by all the rest of the Iron Sworn fleet. And I think that is it. And that's actually, well, that is everything. That is where we're going to stop. And I'll just note here that in the end, under my legacies, this last box fills up and that gets 2 more XP. I don't know why I'm worrying about this, except that I have this and I get 1 more box here. But since I have completely filled out this track, filling up this last box only gets me 1 XP. Getting me up to 53, which is pretty good. I have this, there's one of the advances that you can get once you've filled in at least 12 of these boxes, and I think at this point I have 27 boxes full. You can get a fleet commander as one of the advances, and I might do, if I were going to continue this, I would probably do something like that just to reflect that I've got a fleet of Iron Sworn ships with me, which is quite something. That's where I'm going to leave it with, I don't know, 7 XP unspent. This is a big story, and I don't know exactly if this is the perfect way to finish it, but you know, when you wrap up Fill the Prophecy with a strong hit with a match, you should probably respect that a little bit. And what that means is moving on with something else. It's not finished, I guess. I'm not sure. It felt like it was too big of a story to finish, I think. All in one go. It shouldn't be as simple as like save the universe by just all the clues that are laying here and a dozen planets. It feels like the start of a big story. So yeah, we're gonna move on past that. I think what happens then is, and this probably isn't quite right, but I'd go into Earl's sheet here and go back over into the vows, and we're going to clear this one out, and we're going to clear that one out, and we're going to grab this, find a way to make the wisps and the forge safe from the Nephilim, Dualim, and Dominion, and we're going to clear that and make it epic. That was 4 advances at 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take 4 advances on this since it's epic, and that fills up 1 box. It's 1 box full on the epic quest to find a way to make the forge safe from the Nephilim/Dualahan. That feels about right. I'm satisfied with this. I think this story makes me happy. I feel like I got to tell Earl's story. I think I got to tell Zeb's story. I think we have amassed quite an interesting cast of characters and quite an interesting world here in the Morian Empire, and really in everything that's going on here and the larger story. And I wouldn't mind very much coming back to this at some other point, but I'm also fine not having done it. Sean put some really nice mechanics in there for what happens when your bar wraps around and you do some more stuff, but I don't know, there's a kind of story that this game is really good at, where you're moving around and you're exploring and you're running into a lot of new stuff every time you move, and there's a point at which I think you're not stopping for that stuff anymore. You know, you're going to the big picture stuff, and the mechanics are meant to do that, are meant to hit that minor stuff. So I think at the level that Earl's operating at, you wouldn't do that as much, and it might feel a little weird and kind of petty to not be concerned with this larger picture all the time. I don't know. The game would probably prove me wrong, because this game has proved me wrong at every stage. I have played other games longer for more sessions. Masks comes to mind. I've done at least, I think I'm actually up to about 200 right now. 90 sessions of Amber, Diceless, and stuff. But boy, I tell you what, this thing has delivered. And I tell you something else that I think is important, is that in all of those other games, I was with a bunch of other very, very smart, very, very creative, very, very inspiring people. And in this game, I pretty much got just me. And the lovely commenters who have engaged with me time and time and time again with ideas and that sort of thing. So I don't want to disregard that. But generally speaking, it's kind of been just me. And I have maintained in many other games that the only reason I was able to keep going and continue and keep generating a story, because I tend to go like this, it tends to be off the seat of my pants and I'm just kind of making stuff up as I go, is because I've got these other people kicking stuff in, and this game has proved me wrong. So the game is the other player that's giving me ideas, that's forcing me out of my comfort zone, that's forcing me to come up with new stuff, to accept that what I thought was going to happen is not what's going to happen. And that kind of means that Sean's been sitting at the table with me this whole time, kind of, and Josh. But the people who have put so much time into Starforged have helped me along with that. And I can't thank them enough, but I also need to acknowledge it. But, you know, this game has proven that it wasn't just that. It was, you know, if I get a little bit of a nudge, I can keep that going along. And I will always be very thankful for that thing. I mean, I've sat around and written a book and published a book with HarperCollins and done all that. So I kind of knew I could put together a story on my own, but I don't know. I'm just really happy with this. I'm very satisfied. And I kind of have, you guys ever had a book hangover? Like you get done with a really good book and then you kind of don't want to, you're just kind of, there's actually a medical or sort of a physical body chemistry reason for this. If you do like a big marathon, I've run a lot. If you do like a marathon or any big, like an ultra run or something like that, or if if you're really into a television series or a movie series or something that's got you really emotionally wound up, a book's a really good example of that. You get done and you kind of just, you certainly don't want to pick up another book, and you're kind of just emotionally tapped out. And the reason is your body has been producing whatever you want, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, whatever it is that you were doing. It's produced that at such a high level for an extended period of time that not only is it exhausted from doing that, but it's also tapped out. Like it doesn't have any more ability to do it. So for a while, you're just kind of, because you're just running kind of a little bit on empty for that. So you're just kind of flat, soaking in that. You almost feel sad because you're not getting the happy, right? So in a way, I'm a little bit down, but in a happy way. This was good. I will always be proud of this, I think. So thank you, Sean. I think it will not be very long before I'm playing another one of your games or hacking another one of your games. I've still got an idea for an Ironforge hack or a Starforge hack. In any case, Earl and Zeb and Kay and Arnav and Fidget will always be with me right here. This was good. Thank you all. I honestly am a little bit astonished at the folks who have hung with me through all of this. So thank you all for that. I hope you enjoy this. I hope that this satisfies you the way that it satisfies me. And if not, keep nagging me in the comments until I start Earl back up in another sector. It should only take, a couple hundred messages. All right. Thanks all very much, and I will talk to you soon.